I was pouring that positivity in, and that made a huge shift in my it just made a huge shift in my life. And so I really feel like I was able to connect with my soul at that point. And my soul was just longing to show me what was in there, because there's exactly what you said. We all have such a power within us. It's in there, it's in every one of us. It's just waiting for us to find it, waiting for us to crack open enough to be able to see it and to allow it to come forth. And I was cracked I was hugely cracked. And so it began to come forth, and I allowed it to, and it has taught me so much.
So today I have a very special guest, a wonderful woman. She has such a story to tell that I refuse to tell anything about her with my words, because it's very more authentic when she is telling everything, because I admire you, and what things you have happened to you. It's amazing that you are here today, and I appreciate so much that you come to this talk. And I introduce to everybody warmly Amy Thurman.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. I really appreciate the invitation and you taking the time to allow me to share my story.
Yes, Amy. So Amy, you have a lot of experience about health and wealth, as well as sickness, and a lot of experience with that. I know that you're giving workshops to educate people and to empower people to tell their story because of your story. This is amazing when you take the power to really let your own story guide others. But before we go into that, so what has happened that you changed your life, because your life changed dramatically? Are you willing to share your story with us now?
Absolutely. My whole purpose is to help other people. And I feel like if being vulnerable and sharing what I've been through is an opportunity to help others, then I'm happy to do it. So, yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, start with what has happened that your life has changed so dramatically.
Yeah, I introduced myself. I'm a disabled entrepreneur, a story development coach, and I live with a broken neck. In 2013, I was working at a major university and I have 3 kids. I was pretty much doing everything for everyone, all the things that moms do, running the kids everywhere, taking care of everything. And in 2014, I felt ill during the night and I got up and I ended up passing out. I landed on my face on the hardwood floor. The impact sheared my brainstem, caused a traumatic brain injury, and it actually broke my neck, but that went undetected for 6 months. And so for the first year, nearly the first year after the accident, had to lay flat in a bed. And I couldn't even, like for 23 hours a day, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't hear or see correctly. And I had to have help to use the restroom. So literally, I went from one day doing everything for everyone, it seemed like, to the very next day, I couldn't even take care of myself. It was such a deep, deep, dark place that I would never, never wish for anyone to experience that.
So you just got out during the night and then you fell down. So you got dizzy, or what has happened? Do you know that?
I do. It actually took them 6 years to figure out why I passed out to
Yeah.
begin with. It's a condition called dysautonomia or POTS, where the autonomic nervous system just doesn't work right. And so my blood pressure bottoms out and I pass out sometimes. But I didn't know that that's what was happening at the time. Like I said, it took them 6 years to figure that out. And so it's been quite an ordeal that I have been through. So that was, it's almost been a decade now since all of this happened. And it's been quite challenging.
I can imagine. So you said nearly 1 year you've been in bed for 23 hours. I even can't imagine how that feels. So who did take care of you? And what did you do then? What was in your mind, in your thoughts, in your feelings? I can't imagine how it is.
It is unimaginable because unless you have lived through it. And I am a very independent person. I don't like to ask for help. I like to do things on my own. I'm very determined. And so simply not being able to do anything for myself was like a form of torture for me. I just had to lay there because I literally, every time I tried to lift my head up, it felt like a train was sitting on it. I could not lift my head up. And they didn't realize that my neck was broken because the head pain was so severe. They were focused on, why is her head hurting? And then it was 6 months before I went through 6 neurologists. It was 6 months before one of them said, has anyone looked at your neck? And I said, no. And that's when they found the injury. But laying in that bed, like I said, it was a form of torture for me. And so I went into this deep, dark place and I began to pray. I started to pray and pray and pray, literally, that I would die because I was not living. I was merely existing. Everybody was having to take care of me. My husband, who had a full-time job, first of all, my children, my daughter was a senior in high school. My son was a freshman in high school. It's emotional for me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And my little guy was 4 years old.
Wow.
4 years old. Each of those ages, do you know how much they need their mama during those times? And I completely missed that entire year of their lives. The whole year, I missed all of that. And so I felt like such a burden to them. They were all having to do everything for me. They were having to be super quiet. I had to wear a cover over my eyes because the light hurt my head. And my husband said it was like living in a morgue, that it just was a horrible way to live. Um, and so I began to pray that I would die. And I knew that I had enough pain medication to make it happen. And I fully intended to do that. And I had this moment of clarity where I remember thinking, what if dying isn't the answer? What if I don't have to die? What if I can take the same energy that I'm using so hard to try to die and I just turn it around and use it instead to fight to live? And if
Wow.
I can get better, maybe I can use my experience to help other people. Now, as a former social worker and educator, that's what motivated me, was if I can do this, maybe I can use my experience to help other people. And so that's exactly what happened. I took the same energy I was using trying to die and just flipped it around and used it to fight to live instead. And that's how I slowly began to get better and better and began advocating for myself to someone, find out what's wrong with me because I have to get better. I cannot live like this.
Wow. This is incredible. So there must be a huge power within you. There must be a huge power. So how would you explain this power? Is it just your thoughts which help you, or is this inward driving force which we normally can't explain?
Yes, I believe everyone believes in something different.
Yeah.
So whatever you call that, I believe it was just calling to me. Like had a bigger purpose. I had a reason for existing, that it wasn't my time to go. And I knew it was, all the education that I had and having to lay there for all that time, I knew that not only did I have to change the way I was thinking, because there was so much negativity going on in my brain, I just wanted my life back. I just wanted to be able to do something I could before. I just wanted to do something with my kids. I was focused on all the things I couldn't do. And I realized that has to change. But not only did it have to change, I had to replace it with something. So I had someone turn on a podcast or an audio book for me. And I turned it down real low so that my brain could handle it. And I began listening to Tony Robbins and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Rumi and all of those luminaries. And that's what I did. I began just pouring that in all the times when I didn't have to rest my brain. I was pouring that positivity in, and that made a huge shift in my it just made a huge shift in my life. And so I really feel like I was able to connect with my soul at that point. And my soul was just longing to show me what was in there, because there's exactly what you said. We all have such a power within us. It's in there, it's in every one of us. It's just waiting for us to find it, waiting for us to crack open enough to be able to see it and to allow it to come forth. And I was cracked I was hugely cracked. And so it began to come forth, and I allowed it to, and it has taught me so much. Oh my goodness, I have called my business Polish the Mirror for this reason, because that's exactly what it is. It's polishing the mirror, looking deep within our souls, because our souls have the answer. They want to show us the way. We just don't know how to listen to them. Or when we hear it, we think that's ridiculous. Stop listening to it. But it's because of a quote by Rumi that I called it that. And it goes like this: Ye who seek God apart, that which you seek, thou art. If you wish to seek the beloved's face, polish the mirror and gaze into that space. That hit me so deeply. It told me that every answer I seek can be found within. And so that's what I began to do, is look within. And that's how I've been able to do as much as I have been.
Wonderful. I get goosebumps when you just said this quote.
It's powerful. It's so powerful.
It's so powerful. Wow. And so you listened whenever you could to these empowering speeches from many people, I think so. And then you got an injury for your neck, and you could get up then again, or what has happened then?
It was a long time. After they figured out that my neck was broken, then I had to start the series of going to find someone, a surgeon, who was willing to help me with that. But then you have to jump through a lot of hoops. That's what we call it. Like, do all the diagnostic testing and everything before the insurance will cover that. And so it was 3 more months after they found the injury before I could actually have the surgery to help repair it. And so it was 9 months before I could have that surgery. And there was so much damage done. My neck began to grow that way that I continued to live with a broken neck. That surgery did help some, but the injury is still there. It has never healed. It's still not fused. It's still unstable. And I can still only hold my head up for a few hours at a time. And I have to rest a lot because I have a lot of fatigue from just using that energy to hold my neck up.
Wow. Wow. So thank you. Thank you again that you are here with us now. Yeah, and then you started to just choose to do your own and new business when you were a little bit stable, more stable. How did you do that then?
Yes, that, as I said before, I'm a very determined, independent person.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to do something on my own. After I started to get better, after I had surgery and was going through physical therapy and could sit up for, a little bit longer, I thought I need to do something for myself. I want to feel like I'm contributing in some way. And the injury came with a lot of other ailments. I have autoimmune issues and chronic fatigue syndrome, a lot of other health issues. And so that means that I not only have to be careful what I put in my body, but I have to be careful what I put on my body, because our skin is our largest organ.
Yeah.
And so I began searching, clean products, and I found a anti-aging cosmetics and skincare company that's clean, that was local to me. And I began partnering with them. 7 months after partnering with them, they heard my story and they asked me to share it on stage in front of 2,000 people, because they were just so enamored by what I had been through, and that I was now using what I could to help partner with them. And so that was life changing for me. You can imagine. I was terrified, 2,000 people. So I had to develop my story in a way that I could share it with others and then get up there and actually share it, actually do it. Was not only life changing for me, it was life changing for the people that were there. I continue to get messages from people who were there saying, I can't believe you inspired me so much. They have changed their life. They don't make excuses the way they used to anymore. And even people who are not there send me messages saying, I heard it was amazing. Can you send me the recording? And so I just realized it's so much bigger than I thought. Maybe just sharing my story can have an impact on other people. And it really, really has. And so that's how it all started. It is that way.
Wow. Yeah, I think your story has a huge impact. The more your voice and the more your story spread out into the world, people will discover that the little things they are arguing about it's not relevant. Yeah, it's not relevant. So
Right.
wow, it's so impressive. Really, it's impressive.
Oh, thank
What to say?
you.
It's so impressive. Yeah. And then you started to take your story to educate others how they tell their story. So you
Yes, I
then as well now.
yes, I started with Synogens is the name of the company that I partner with.
Mhm.
And so I'm now a leader, one of their leaders in the state that I live in, and I get to help other distributors in the area by leading them. But then I also decided if my story can be this life changing, not everybody has a dramatic story like mine, but you know what? Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story worth sharing. And I thought, why are people not sharing it? Why are people not sharing their stories more? It can be so life changing, not only for the person, but for other people. And so I decided that I want to help people do that. I became a story development coach to help people, number one, figure out why am I not sharing my story? Most of the time, people are ashamed or don't want to be that vulnerable. But then I also help them develop it in a way where they can share it to help better connect them with clients or with themselves and figure out ways for them to share it. And it really is helpful. I mean,
Mm.
connecting with clients using your story is a huge, huge benefit in connecting with clients. It just brings people together. And so I'm able to help a variety of people now, from business owners to people who want to do public speaking or people who just want to know more about themselves and better themselves and figure out what's really going on in there and why am I not allowing this to happen. And so it's multifaceted. It's just, depends on the person and what it is they want. But yes, I'm able to help so many people. It's just so much fun, so much fun.
It's so wonderful. It's really so wonderful. So then it was a hard but a real good calling that something happened to you because it's amazing. I know you are still sitting in a wheelchair, is it?
I use a walker a lot of times. It's
Walker.
just a device to help me walk because the way my doctor explained it is it's like in having an extra limb. It takes some of the pressure off of my neck so that I can hold my head up for longer periods of time and just do a little bit more.
Okay. And what do you do? Do you do for yourself energetically something, or do you meditate, or um, are you still very intense connected to your soul and your inner voice?
Absolutely. That's how I have to live my life now. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine functioning any other way. I every morning before I get out of bed, I do a tapping meditation, EFT tapping. You're probably familiar with that, where there are different points where you tap to release nervous system. And I also do energy, inner emotional energy release.
Mhm.
And so I part of my program is a 10-week program, and that includes we go through 100 different emotions in that program. And so the thing with emotions is which I could talk about this for a long time. So I'm going to try to rein it in because I love talking about emotions. I learned so much about this laying in that bed, so much about me and emotions. But we have emotions for a reason. We're human. We're supposed to feel them. They're there for a reason to teach us something. And but they can get stuck in our system. They can get trapped in our bodies. And when they do that, they prevent the flow of the positive emotions. And so unless we know, number one, which emotions are trapped, and number two, how to release them, they can get clogged up in there, and we won't be feeling the positive emotions like we usually would. And so I help people release those trapped emotions. And then excuse me, I also help teach them. I created an emotion frequency chart, and it's free on my website if you would like to check that out. But I have taken the 100 emotions and put them into 10 different stages according to their emotional vibration, because everything has a vibration. Emotions have a vibration and a frequency. And so there are 10 different stages of those. And so I help people learn how to go from living in the lower level emotions, how to walk their way up to living in the higher level emotions, where you see life from a different perspective. Your motivation is different. Everything you see just has a different perspective to it, and you live in just a higher level. And that's what most people want, right? And so that's part of what I do too, is help them learn to live in those upper level emotions. There's just so much to it. I can't share everything that I do because there's so much to it. It's individualized to each person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's life changing.
And how did you discover these 100 emotion? It's a lot. So I know the scale from nearly 0 to 1,000 concerning the vibration. Yeah. But I know some emotions which are attached to some energy level or vibration. And I know as well, therefore, this channel is as well created to raise the energy so that everybody who looks or sees and experience women like you can have a little bit to take away, so to expand and come into a higher vibration. So, but how did you discover the 100 emotion?
It's funny because with laying in that bed, I was having all of these emotions. They were just all over the place. And I had done therapy. I had worked with a therapist, for years and years. And there's that feelings wheel, if you're familiar with that feelings wheel that gives you, specific feelings, and then it goes out and extends to more feelings. And just thinking about that, laying there, like, if someone asked me how I felt right now, I would really only give them probably one of 5 answers. Like, in general, we only know a handful of emotions. As children, we have the little faces and we tell them this is what happy looks like, this is what sad looks like, this is what angry looks like. And that's pretty much all they know. But there's so much more to emotions than that. And so I thought, in this getting better and listening to my soul, then I just started thinking there's so much more to emotions than people realize. And so I just started doing some research on, I wonder how many there are, I wonder what they are, what they're called, that kind of stuff. And I just came across this plethora of information about emotions that I thought, why is nobody sharing this? Why is nobody talking about this? Because it's true, it's part of being human. People need to be talking about this. And so that's pretty much how it started. And I have a series I'm doing now called 100 Days, 100 Emotions, where I have a person come on and share an experience that they have with a specific emotion. And we just talk about how it's part of being human and what we can do to make those positive, what we can learn from those emotions. And it has been life-changing for people. I've got some really, really good messages from people watching that series. So it might be something your viewers might be interested in as well.
Yeah, of course. Because the more you know, the more you understand yourself better, and you can adjust easier, maybe, or you can choose a specific help in a specific area if you know more about yourself. So yes. We will have under our video recording, we will have your website. And which website is it where we can find especially as well the things about the emotions? Do you have several websites or one?
I have one. It's called polishthemirror.com. And then if you'll go to the free tab, there are a couple freebies there. The press tab has lots of interviews and other information about me if you would like to check those out too.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like
There's
that.
also, at the time of this recording, I'm working on a book. And so you can sign up to be on the wait list for that book too, if you're interested in that.
That's wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. So what would be your message to our audience as a tip for life, for example? What would you recommend if somebody says, I don't know how, but I would like to change something?
The first step is awareness. In everything that we do, the first step is awareness and identifying what it is you're feeling. Maybe not know the exact name, but what is that connected to? Like, what is that feeling? When does it come up? It's connected to something in your life. And identifying what it's connected to will really, really help figure out what to do next. Because when you can figure out what it's connected to, then you have this eye-opening experience like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense now. It's connected to that because this is what happened. And I'm saying this from experience, so it may not resonate with a lot of people. I apologize for that. But just being aware of what I'm feeling and when do I feel this? Does it happen when I am in contact with other people? Because our energy is contagious. Other people's energy is contagious. Is there a specific person that when I come into their energy, does that make me feel this way? Is it uncomfortable? And so that's an area there that maybe you need to look into. But my message is that, oh my gosh, through this whole experience, I have been able to find my hero within. That's the name of my book, Finding My Hero Within. For so many years, I looked for someone outside of myself to come rescue me. I was looking for the answer to everything outside of myself. I just needed someone to come rescue me. And I have learned that the opposite is true, that every answer we seek, everything we need can be found within us. Our souls know the way. Our souls want to lead us. And polishing the mirror to see what message your soul has for you is life changing. Yes, we need therapists. Yes, we need other people to help us along the way. But the answers are all within us. And I want you to know that you have that same power within you that I'm talking about, that I have found by laying flat in a bed for almost a year. That power is within every one of us. It's within you too. It's just waiting for you to uncover it, just waiting for you. And so I encourage you to take the first step. If it means booking a call with me to help you figure out how to get started, I would love to do that. It doesn't mean you have to work with me, but I would love for at least to help you figure out which path and which direction to go to help you learn to do that.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Amy. So before we close our wonderful conversation, I have two questions I always ask. So what is what you want or wish for the world? And what what you want and wish for yourself?
So that's such good questions. Oh my goodness. For the world, I wish that people would just love themselves. If people would, and it sounds selfish when I say it out loud. I know it sounds like, what are you talking about? Don't you want peace for the world? Do you want, something existential? Yes, but it all starts within. It has to start within every one of us. If we would all just learn to love and accept ourselves the way we are, oh my goodness, our response to other people would be so different. And so what I want for the world is for people to learn to love and accept themselves the way they are. And then your second question was what do I want for myself?
That's for yourself.
Oh my goodness. That's a tough one because I do feel like I'm living the life of my dreams already right now. I would love to be able to impact more people, to reach more people with this message of hope and resilience, that just not giving up. Like, do you know how many times I wanted to give up? I wanted to quit. I wanted to die, for heaven's sake, but I didn't. I kept going. I kept pushing. And I feel like if I can get that message out, that just don't stop. You have a resilience in there, use it. You are meant for something good. You are meant to be good. You are meant to help change people's lives. And I think for what I want for myself is just to be able to reach more people with that message of hope and resilience.
Wonderful, Amy, wonderful. And I hope it for you too, and for everybody who is getting in touch with you, that everyone who is getting in touch with you polish the mirror, their own one. So
Yes, yes.
thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it from my deepest heart that you have shared your story. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you again for offering this to me and for the opportunity to share my story. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for watching. Click on one of the videos below to continue your journey and tell others about this channel. And please subscribe.